coming up.
We strive for building a maternal female and producing bulls that will go out and build a maternally based herd.
Let's talk about mothers that are around for 10 plus years that have good bags, that can milk and raise those calves.
A seedstock producer in Oklahoma works to fill a widening gap in commercial herds. Next on The American Rancher. Hello and welcome to The American Rancher. I'm Pam Minnick. Today we're at Sadler Ranches, an Angus seedstock producer that's getting a lot of attention. Owner Brent Sadler is a fourth-generation cattleman with strong lineage in the beef industry. Brent developed a passion for cattle and excellence at a young age. And backed by some of the top genetics in the world, he saw an opportunity to fill a widening maternal gap in America's commercial herds.
I was born and raised right here locally in Perkins, Oklahoma. Grew up on a sizable commercial operation here. We ran commercial Hereford operation alongside with farming wheat and alfalfa.
Same thing my grandfather did and his father before him.
Unfortunately, my family dispersed in 1995. Growing up in a commercial seedstock operation, I wasn't able to go out and see a ton of registered operations and how marketing worked. Luckily and fortunately for me, Chris McCutcheon hired me at a young age when limestone just started, and it was a very up-and-coming operation at the time and really allowed me to get a grasp on the Angus business and how marketing and genetics play key roles in the purebred industry and how you can really set the precedent for a lot of commercial operations. Growing up in a commercial operation, it's always instilled a part of me that we've got to have a cow herd that calves easy and still goes out and performs and does all the things that they're supposed to be doing. Just like our commercial customers today, they expect that our genetics will last them for a long period of time and that they'll be problem-free and they're not out there having to deal with those types of problems on a daily basis. That we were able to purchase the original limestone Angus cell facility and everything a decade after they sold out. Specifically where we're sitting at today, the cell facility and all the main area that we use for marketing. It was a surreal situation where I was actually working here when we constructed everything that's on this property. We were able to actually get something that when I was growing up I thought it was just a dream. I grew up raising, showing Hereford cattle, and it wasn't until 2014 that I purchased my first Angus cattle from Coleman Angus in Charlotte, Montana. At that point in time, we really began to develop our Angus herd. This past summer, we made that ultimate decision and dispersed our Hereford operation to top Herefords in North Dakota. And so you're looking at just pretty much 100% Angus operation we stand today. As we transitioned more over to an Angus-based herd, we grew exponentially at a very rapid pace there, and predominantly through our commercial cow herd utilizing embryo transfer. And it was at that point we decided that we needed a little bit more help.
I made one phone call to Lucas Reinhardt. He was working in Missouri at the time.
He accepted my offer to come back home here to Perkins, Oklahoma, and he and his wife Bailey have been a wonderful addition to this operation. Since then, we've added several people, the next being Braden Hendricks and his wife Lindsay and his family. Braden's position is managing our sell cattle and taking care of all the bulls. And just recently, within the last year, Cody Kluger from up in Oregon came to work, and he assists Braden on a daily basis. And Brody Pettyjohn came on and helped Lucas on all the ranching operation sides, making sure herd health and cattle are taken care of to the max. And then John Wolf works in the office, and I couldn't operate the day-to-day business of this ranch without him. Both of my daughters help Braden and Cody halter break a lot of the sale cattle that will be on display on sale day. My son, he's with me on a daily basis, doing whatever it may be, whether that's on the farming aspects of running equipment. That's what he really enjoys. Unlike myself, that I was always ate up with cattle, he seems to be completely ate up with farming and just loves the aspects of all the technology and the GPSs and irrigation and different types of things like that. But those are the things that really drive every one of us, I know, that's watching this episode, is to build something for your kids. And that's what I really strive to do around here, is to build an operation that's sustainable for my kids going forward.
After the break,
we strive for building a maternal female and producing bulls that will go out and build a maternally based herd.
we take a close look at the power behind Sadler Ranch's complete maternal program. That story is after the break here on The American Rancher. Welcome back to The American Rancher. Years ago, Brent Sadler set out to develop cow herds with maternal excellence. Today, Sadler Ranches is getting a lot of attention from commercial operators who see a lot of value in what the Sadler team has accomplished in the development of a complete maternal package.
Our customer base would be ones that either focus primarily on maternally based genetics, or they would be customers that have a cow herd that would be slightly different, that's looking to inject some maternal genetics. Those maternal genetics would be to add more fleshing ability, more body capacity, while continuing to focus on those traits that our cattle really strive for, which is really good uddered, really good footed female. What I feel like really sets us apart from other operations is that we strive for building a maternal female and producing bulls that will go out and build a maternally based herd. And there are several operations that do that around the United States that would come to mind instantly. But we try to do it and mass produce the very best of what we have to offer. We've got an extensive embryo transfer program that we utilize some of the best donors that we can find, not only across the United States, but worldwide. We brought in the Argentine-based genetics to our herd. That allowed us to bring in an outcross that really worked with our cows, because we had a very small nucleus that we'd been breeding off of in terms of like and kind. We found that to be very beneficial, because the specific ranches that we get those genetics from down in Argentina, their climate and landscape would be very similar to where we are here in Oklahoma. We most recently just found a really nice donor cow on our tour up in Canada, and we're excited to bring her into our donor battery coming up this fall. She combines one of the most legendary American-bred bulls with one of the most legendary Argentine-bred females in the world. We're always on the look for that next really maternal giant, whether she be based in the United States or is based abroad. We're always trying to put those into our herd and make sure that they're the type of cattle, first and foremost, that fit all of our criteria. And through the process, we've got a pretty sizable donor herd here, and for an animal to be a donor at our location, they've got to fit a lot of criteria. First and foremost, it'd be the one that's out there doing the best job, raising her calf, shows extreme mothering ability. They've got to be out in the pastures and rank up ahead of everybody in fleshing ability. So we believe that she's out there and she's really converting. She's got some of the best calves that we have, because here at our place, the donors are the most economically friendly cows on the entire place. They actually see a feed truck. Of course, we got to feed throughout the winter and different things, but our donor battery would actually see the feed truck less than any animal on this place. And probably one of the most important things that we also look at is docility. We want to make sure that these cattle go out and are extremely docile and produce docile cattle for our customers. Because if we're going to start mass producing them, we've got to have all those things, the docility, the really, really good feet, so we can't have any feed issues whatsoever in that donor cow. She's got to have a near perfect udder.
This cow right here, her great-grandmother was one of the first cows that Limestone got that she sold in one of our first production sales to Kirk Duff, and she ended up going, making a name for herself, ended up at ZWTs in Tennessee, and that's where this cow actually came from. Kind of interesting how things make a full circle, and the rest of these cows all go back to the legendary Donna J311. So there's a lot of history here.
Donna J311 is one of the most renowned Angus females in the Angus industry for maternally based females. That particular female actually would have graced these pastures out here back probably in 2003 or so when we Limestone purchased her from Coleman Angus in Montana. 20 years later, Donna J311 is probably the most found cow in all of our pedigrees here at the ranch. Our recip herd probably sets us apart. We strive to have our recip herd fit the same criteria that we do our registered operation. There's a lot of people out there that think a recip's just a recip, but there's been some research done. The recip has a lot of imprinting done on that calf, whether it be in uterine or through the process of getting it through weaning. We utilize recips primarily out of three different herds. That would be our own, the recips that we breed and raise right here on this operation. We also utilize Top Hereford's commercial F1 program up in Grace City, North Dakota. And then we have a substantial Angus-based recip herd that actually comes out of Top Ranch up in Faith, South Dakota. They've done a fantastic job of breeding a very large maternally based herd there in South Dakota. All those recips really have to fit into our criteria of being extremely maternal. Morning.
Morning, how are you guys?
Good, how are you?
Good.
So this morning, our veterinarians here preg checking a few recips for us in one of our later groups. Utilizing IVF allows us to keep our donors in a youthful production and reproductive status. So our donors calve on an annual basis and we keep them in the same season year after year.
Well, I've been working for Brent for a long time, and he started back when he started with the Angus deal here. It's probably been 4 to 5 years ago, and started growing. For the most part, this spring here with Brent and Lucas, we've been on average, I would say we probably average right there at about 54 to 55% on our IVFs, which national average is probably closer to 40% on IVF, and we're doing all frozens here. The fresh IVF will be a little bit higher.
I feel like when customers come and buy bulls from us, that they're injecting an entire line of fertility and longevity into their cow herd. In the area that we live in today, there's been a lot of carcass genetics bred into the commercial cow herd around here and around the country. And that's all fine and works very well for a lot of families and a lot of people. But I think over time, there's been some families see that they probably needed to have their cow herd a little bit more maternally based, that adds a little longevity and functionality to the female in general. And that's where I feel like that our bulls will excel for the families that come and choose to use our genetics. So these bulls have been developed on a very limited concentrate. We try to make these bulls go out and work for everything that they've got and put it on through grass. As you can look at a lot of the bulls that actually come here, a lot of people would probably think that we feed them a lot heavier than what we do, but that's the fleshing ability that are bred into these cattle. So today our Angus herd consists of a set of cattle that we feel are as easy fleshing, maternally oriented, and structurally sound as you can find in any Angus cattle. We really feel like that we've hit a gold mine using some Argentine genetics along with our current Angus herd. So we really feel confident where our Angus cattle are today.
Up next.
Let's talk about mothers that are around for 10 plus years, that have good bags, that can milk and raise those calves.
Find out how you can put top Angus genetics from Sadler Ranches in your herd. That's when the American Rancher returns. Stay with us. Welcome back to The American Rancher. With years of focused discipline, Brent Sadler and the crew at Sadler Ranches have developed genetics that fill the widening gap of maternal traits and longevity in the Angus breed. Their annual female sale is coming up November 18th, giving you the opportunity to take home top Angus genetics to your operation.
Me and Brent go way back. I managed this ranch back from 2001 to 2012. It's called Limestone Angus, and we hired him as a kid in high school. He has always been one to dot his I's and cross his T's. He doesn't do anything halfway. His philosophy on his cow herd and what he's building here and my philosophies are a lot alike. We're all looking for really high maternal cattle that are really balanced, easy fleshing, and loaded with red meat and muscle, something that'll go out and survive on grass and produce females that will survive on grass.
This fall, we will have several females that will be out of a lot of our highlight donors. A lot of those, Donna 8113 highlighted our female cell last year going to Grand River. There will be a substantial amount of daughters that are going to be available in this cell coming up in November. Donna 9309 would also be another cow that's going to have a substantial amount of influence in this cell. She'll have a tremendous set of daughters in the offering, sired by no other than Argentine and the bull that we raised called Heritage himself. Erica 84H has really made her impression well known here in our operation. We imported her from Canada. She is a direct daughter of the Erica 74A cow that is very well known across the United States and Canada. She'll have some exceptional daughters sired by Duff Napoleon in our cell that's going to be a sure highlight. We'll also have several daughters sired by Night Watch. Those daughters will be some of his first to go into production, and being that he's a full brother to one of our lead donors, Donna 9309, we feel that those females will be nothing more than exceptional for our customers. We invite you out on Friday night to come out and view all the cattle and join us for a steak dinner. We'll also have lunch served on Saturday as well. If you can't join us in person on Saturday, you can join us online at Superior Click to Bid.
Our sale will be accompanied with free nationwide delivery. We'll make sure that these animals get there, and most importantly, we're going to do the best job we can to try to deliver them personally to you in a timely fashion.
The sale starts at 1 p.m. and features 60 lots of daughters from Sadler's Donna, Chloe, Abigail, Erica, and Ariske cow families.
So we invite you out at any point in time this fall to come and evaluate the cattle that we have here, not only for sale, but what we have in development. And every one of the registered females sell with our guarantee. We stand behind these animals. We feel like we do a rigorous calling job all the way through the entire process, and we want to make sure that we stand behind them 100%. Any problems that happen to any of these animals, we want to be the first ones to know about, and we will take care of it. We want to make sure that these females are problem-free. We want to make sure that you get exactly what you demanded when you bought them.
You've got cattle that are going to go out there and truly perform for these commercial producers and purebred producers alike. Not just cattle that you can get 1 or 2 calves out of and they break down skeletally, but let's talk about mothers that are around for 10 plus years, that have good bags, that can milk and raise those calves. Ideally, we want those calves to grow as much as we can to weaning weight, grow well into that yearling weight, and then let's shut down a little bit so we don't have these monster cows to feed. Drought conditions, extremely high feed cost. This is the perfect scenario, the perfect storm that Brent has created right here, because there's no question for that commercial producer that thinks about it, those cows or those replacement females they can get out of the bulls he raises or the replacement females they buy directly from him are going to perform and they're going to make money. We don't have to continue to replace them, and that's just simple economics, and it works.
For more information on the annual Sadler Ranches female sale, log on to sadlerranches.com or call the number on your screen. That's all the time we have today. To find out more about us, visit our website, theamericanrancher.com, or connect with us on Facebook or YouTube. I'm Pam Minnick. For our entire American Rancher team, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.